You have to be standing to take a shower.
Bright sunny skies. It's so humid and hot.
In Defender, and we are riding right now into the rain. Let's take a look at that.
Well, it's been a little rough start. Got off the beach finally after 2 days. Third day we spent just getting more things organized. I was in the rain the whole time. Did build the solar array and hooked it all up and started to plug things into it. And we have a toaster oven, one of those big fancy ones that can bake bread, and it might have shorted the whole thing out, so it's been rough. I bought Starlink, brought that in, and should have set it up at home. Good advice to everyone next time. I didn't. I thought it was so easy. You guys should be able to do it all from here. And I didn't have one simple thing, which was I needed the username. Well, I have my username because it's my email. I didn't have the password. So now, I'm waiting on somebody else. See if they can help me get the password. I'm feeling a little bit like a lot of things are not coming together as easily as they could have because of my lack of preparing.
So, challenges, things we didn't expect when we got here. One of them was when we got here, we thought, great, no problem, we'll make a fire in the cabin. The top two pieces of the flue for the cabin blew off. So typically, the normal rule is that you need it a foot or two above your cabin so you can get a draft. Well, guess what? It's like 18 feet in the air. So how are you going to get up there and do that one? So I made a homemade ladder, got up there, and the bracket was rusted. So what I was going to do is put at least one top piece on, and I couldn't do that. So that was a stinker. The other thing was too so what that means is no heat. Right? That's the equivalent, no heat. So some of the other things too is that you got to expect the rain, but you hope it doesn't expect the rain. So. And then, as you know, we talked about before, the four-wheeler getting stuck continually, so that was one. So we had to sleep at a old lodge tabulated that we just kind of figured out one room, and we took the heater on top of a propane. So our accommodations are probably a third world right now, but we're surviving. I put together the 3 solar arrays, had the brackets on wrong first, and figured that one out, which was no big deal. That was a 5-minute fix. And then I'm trying to get the elevation, so I have the elevation in a vertical way. How I think I want to do it. I talked to Kelly, and I think it might be better to go horizontal ways just for the wind resistance. So I got that all kind of scabbed together. So we're gonna try and do that today. Got it all plugged in. I can tell that it was charging a little, but it was awfully cloudy yesterday. So hopefully we're on the run today.
How you feel?
Feel pretty good. I mean, I feel good. The first night, oh my gosh, above my knees, my muscles just burned like crazy. I had a tough time going to sleep. It took me almost 2 hours because it kept cramping up. It's just because I didn't plan on fighting the gravel that much, that fast. And everything settled down, so we We use a, as I mentioned before, a little portable heater. It's supposed to be for outdoor use only. We use it for the propane tank, but we use it very limited. The door's got about that much underneath it, so it's not like the room is sealed tight at all. So we wash the windows so we can get a little more light in there. So we make a number of our meals over there. Luckily enough, the mattresses from the previous owners have a plastic cover on them, and they were good. So we're surviving that way. But yeah, probably. If it was to rent, it would probably be about $5 a night. It sure would. At that point.
They'd pay us to stay there.
They pay us to stay there. So
What's next?
So today we're I think I'm gonna have to charge the batteries off the generator. So still experimenting around with that. Read through the whole manual last night, smarter than I was 5 minutes ago on that one. And gonna work on the generator. And then we don't know yet. We haven't had any communication. We haven't been able to get our Starlink up, so we don't know when our transportation's coming. But we're gonna set up a visual because they've never been here before of where they need to land. So that'll be an easy one. That's just a ladder, and then usually hang a colored bucket in it, and then maybe some wood or something like that. And then we'll have our stuff ready because when they come up, it's kind of like when you're unloading, you got to go as fast as you can, and when you're loading, you want to go as fast as you can. The only thing is we'll have a 20% of what we brought, so that'd be quick.
We're building the target today for the incoming boat to take us off the island. So you can see behind me, Bill's got a ladder with a buoy. So our next captain, who hasn't landed here yet, his name is Corey, he hasn't landed here yet. He will get an idea of what part of the beach we need him to target. So stay away from the rocks. Day 4 on Perl Island, and it's been quite an adventure already. We took 2 days to get us off the beach. All of the stuff we brought, a lot, and probably too much, but most of it was survival gear. We brought enough for a solar array and all of the things we would need to put solar on the cabin, and so far that's going well. Starlink, which was a tiny box, and then the rest was just stuff. Some of it was good, some of it was almost too much, but when you're out on a remote island, you just never know. So it's always good to double pack for certain things like rain, making sure you have extras of some things. So far on the solar array, things have been tucked in pretty nicely. Bill's reinforced it, and we should be able to handle the high winds that we have here on the island. And throughout the summer, it's already producing great power for us, and our batteries were charged within 1 day, which was great. We were very celebratory on that, and couldn't believe we could start charging everything just from a plug-in in our cabin. So that worked out great. The Starlink, not so much. Easy to hook up, 3 little plugs. All of that was so simple. One thing they don't tell you in any of the videos or on the box in any way, shape, or form is that you need to log in and get your username and password while you do have internet. Because once you get out here and you're remote, I can't get into the internet because I don't have my username and password set up. It's not the username and password I used when I first set up the system, so it's some kind of an obscure thing they've sent me an email on, and there's absolutely no help from the app. That's very disappointing. It's almost too automated. That's the thing I don't like about Starlink, is that there's no person out there to talk to. There's no FAQ. There's a big FAQ, and it's all just links. There's no helpline. Obviously, when you get on the Starlink.com, you have full access to their app. it would be nice to be able to talk to someone, chat with someone so they could help me out right now because I have no help. And so that's a stinker. And I'm going to take that on as my own. I didn't prep enough on that area. I should have done all that before I left home. So what I did is I zeroed in on our actual address in Homer, because that's where we sent the package. But we need the Starlink out here on the remote island, which is obviously not my address in Homer. So that's the first thing the Starlink picked up was, hey, you're not at home. So you need to log into your account and change your location. Username, password. I know my username. It's my email. Password. Can't figure it out. I had one small lifeline to have someone help me on the other end I do have a Garmin out here. But they felt a little uncomfortable getting in my email to get that. No problem. I understand completely. They're not a hacker, and I don't blame them. That's my fault. So that's the bad thing about Starlink in my mind is that it's almost too automated. There's no person to be able to chat with to get to help out in the remote situation. And if there is a way, I haven't been able to find it. I've been every little link on that Starlink website and on my app and can't find any help that's a live person at all. And I don't like that. So that feels very cold. It sure would be nice. I was hoping to work out here for a few days. I'm sure my clients back in the lower 48 are hopping hot and mad, trying to figure out where the heck I am. But once I get back, they'll see all this beauty and they'll, I'm sure, be happy for me. So Starlink, great package. I've already gotten Wi-Fi, still can't connect with anyone, even though you do have a Wi-Fi signal out here. It doesn't reach very far, so we have 3 cabins out here on the island, and each one will need one. You can't share it from one to the other. It just doesn't reach that far. I don't know exactly what the distance is, but it's just maybe 50 yards away. The Discovery cabin is about 50 yards away from another lodge where we're staying. It's not nice. It's very rough. Like Bill said, almost third world. Definitely not glamping at this time. But it's about 50, maybe 60, 70 yards away, and I can't get the signal from the other location. And for sure from the third cabin that we have that's across the lake, it will definitely need its own Starlink. There's no way we could get that third signal from just one Starlink package, which we kind of thought maybe we could try. I've read some of the FAQ on that and thought, well, we'll see. But as of right now, I don't see that happening. So what do I do? This is such a bummer. This is tough because it's been I let the team down, and that's tough. There's a lot going on, and Bill's trying to keep us all safe, but he gets ouchy, and that sucks. Makes you want to think about a lot of other things, a lot of other evaluating. But what next? I mean, what do you do next? You just trudge through and you do the next thing. Luckily, we have good weather today. So how do we get home? Well, the plan, we had a couple of different plans. Our friend, Corey Cook, back in Homer, Bob's Trophy Charters, fantastic guy. He promised me he'd be here to get me today or tomorrow. So I'm betting on that. Our other team back at home, Coldwater AK, my good friend Lisa Conley on the other end, also has my back. She says they can come get us Monday or Tuesday. Because we have a snag with Starlink, what I was hoping is that we could still get back to Homer. I could get the Starlink logged in and come back out, get that set up, and then go back home. We have work to do back in the lower 48, so we need to get back to Homer. Our flights leave Wednesday afternoon, so today's Saturday. We have a little time, and our team back there in Homer knows we're here, and they know we're safe, and they're fantastic. So I'm looking forward to seeing our captain, Corey, pull up to that beach, and maybe we can even try to catch some halibut or salmon on our way back home, because he knows where all the hot spots are on the way back. He says, matter of fact, right here in front of us are some of his favorite places to fish. So I was thinking he might have already been pulling up this morning because it's nice and calm and absolutely gorgeous. So we've been communicating with my Garmin I'll have a review on that sometime because I do have opinions on the little Garmin that I do have, which is this one. The small Garmin is good for simple things like we are very beginners. It's very hard to type on, and I would probably not choose it again. It connects with Bluetooth, right on. Can't get it to connect out here on the island. So it's either operator air, which is possible, or, you know, what good does it do when you're out in remote locations? So maybe I need to watch a few more reviews on that. So looks like the chainsaw started up. Bill's working on the solar array just to get it a little firmer for the winds around here, and the day has begun. Good thing we have a lot of prayer out here on Perl Island.
That I had modular did the solar as far as the application goes. So I have 3 individual solar panels. So I had to get the panels, as you've seen, all the way up to the cabin, and now I got to start building it. Well, we had planned on putting in a lot more lumber. Probably had twice as much lumber on the boat or on my trailer load on the boat, but we just ran out of space. So I figured, well, that's okay. Then when we get out there, I'll just take some trees. I'll just cut some driftwood and cut. Well, luckily when we got out there was some just dimensional lumber left over. So now I had to start putting it together. So you optimally want your solar panels to the south at like 60 degrees, right? So you gotta like that. So these are big panels, but what you want to do is you kind of want to assemble them together and then move it modular up. So that was a trick. We got it at like 15 degrees, then built something a little taller to get it to 30 degrees, and then I got it to about 60 degrees, and then fastened it in, tied it all in.
And you got to realize you're on a remote island, so you don't have the corner store to go get something. You have to really rely on what you've packed or what's literally available to you on the island. Luckily, we did have some extra lumber that helped, but we had an old generator that became the base of it because we had to lift it up and set it on that old generator. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
It was frustrating to say the least.
So essentially what we do is we took 2 poles like this, right? And then we inclined the solar like that on it and attached it to it. So, but the whole thing is that if you didn't take it, you don't have it.
Yeah.
That's it. That applies to everything. Fuel, food, anything that you want to do. So you have to plan. And then the other thing is, you don't know what the weather's going to be. And
meteorologically, it was horrible. We'd been there in April before, and it was sunny and dry and beautiful. And this April, every day was straight line winds. Temperatures were cold in the 40s at best. And we were drenched every day. And I think that in itself kind of put stress on us.
Yeah, we had a propane 13-pound tank with one of those round cylinders on the top that produces the heat rate. You light that thing every day, twice a day.
Yeah.
I was doing the laundry, but it was the drying cycle only, right? You could just see the steam pouring off our jackets, our pants, our hats, everything.
But talk about the struggles.
Well, when we first got there, we have a stove in our cabin. Great, no problem, right? Unknowns to us, to get there, the top 2 sections, they're 3-foot sections, are on the ground. I'm like, right? What happened there? They weren't damaged, but something had to give up. So now I'm thinking, well, okay, I'll get my ladder. Oh no, I won't get my ladder because I didn't bring an extension ladder. Right? Lessons learned. Okay, so I had to go out to the beach. We had to go out to the beach, find 2 bean poles that were like this.
Just driftwood that's not very big around.
Stripped.
That's what he means.
Yep, stripped, and then build ourselves a ladder. I had to go up there, so I wasn't sure how that was going to go.
You did that pretty quick.
I told Kelly if I fall, I'll just try and break my fall before I hit the ground. Right? So, and come to find out, the clamp to connect the 2 together was rusted toast. So there wasn't anything we had to do.
So the stove could not work.
So the stove couldn't work because you can't get a good enough draft. And then what you're doing is you're shooting the sparks right out into essentially the side of the cabin. So we just said, be done with that. But we did have the propane heater. We stayed in another building, the lodge. We had a propane heater, and that helped us. But it was one of those,
okay, Kelly, get warm, get warm, get warm. Jump in your sleeping bag, right? Then I did some more drying of my clothes, the laundry, right, and then shut it down. And then it's obviously an ocean in the island, right? So there's moisture all around. So in the middle of the night, it would be kind of like dewy, like you were camping. And we fired up again, dried the room out. The room wasn't that big, and then did it again in the morning, and then tried to preheat our clothes before we put them on. But yeah, it was a challenge.
I would challenge is the word I would use, because you were mentally trying to plan it all out in your head, and you're an engineer, so you think of all the things 5 steps ahead, and I'm back 2 or 3 steps because I'm still trying to catch up on where we are, and it was stressful. You were not in a happy mood. It was bad. It was tough. I'm gonna say bad. It was a challenge.
Yeah. So then I'm like, we gotta do something with the lights, right? We gotta get some kind of lights in here, and it's like
solar. We have solar.
Yeah. I said, we got something solar. You go, oh yeah, we got solar lights we're gonna use over there. So then what we did, we grabbed that, got the solars out, hung them like
in our room.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it was a push button, so it was on and off. So that made it better. We just kept doing things. The carpet was wet, and we got the carpet cut out. So
this is all in the spot where we stayed at night. It was rough, but
yeah.
Back to building the panel system and setting it up with the solar and the Starlink situation.
Oh,
so
yeah, we didn't tell you the whole thing. Sorry, I didn't tell you the whole thing.
Up.
So the solar was to power the Starlink. The Starlink was to obviously get an internet, but also too was going to run this for our ring cams, so we could watch out there at any time. Or if something moved or somebody showed up, you could see who it was, right? Well, we didn't have enough sun, and the generator did not get plugged in good enough. So we had Starlink for 2 months, 2.5 months, right? So lessons learned, right? Because there's always a lessons learned on these things, is that this year I'm going to try and go to a small wind turbine also. So if I don't have the sunlight, I know I'm going to have the wind and charge the batteries that way. So,
and I think after we, I was in charge of figuring out Starlink, and that in itself was a challenge. So I set it all up as much as I could, read everything I could, talked to several people that had Starlink already at their homes, and told us how easy it really was. And so I didn't unpack it yet because I knew that I wanted to unpack it on the island. And I did not understand the packages attached to it. And it cost us money in the end. And that was frustrating.
Yeah, didn't understand the relationships of what had to be done at your home site, the pre-work, the connectivity, what we thought was going to happen versus wasn't going to happen. Had to make an extra trip back in. So,
how'd that make you feel?
You know what? It's lessons learned. It's financially, it'll bite you, but there was no risk of life or anything like that. It was connectivity, and it was us pushing the envelope. Really, what it was. So
I felt like I let the team down, though.
Yeah, what did you learn? That's a better question. What did you learn?
But it was the reaction of you. I mean, you were frustrated with the build. You were frustrated with how things were going, and I wasn't moving fast enough, and it was rainy and cruddy, and it just, everything was just stacked up against us. We tried to, round back and go, okay, go team, but it was tough.
Yeah, but there's just so many lessons learned, right? And we're smarter. My thing is, I'm smarter than I was 5 minutes ago, right? There was a lot of 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, right? And so you just figure it out in some way. It's a challenge to yourself to say, what are your survival skills? What are you doing?
Right.
And
it made us stronger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm always on about safety. Look, don't do that, because this and this and this could happen. Oh, I never thought about that, right? It's times 10 when you know your medical is a SOS if you have something, break a leg, right, or major stitches or anything like that. Your lifeline is hopefully you can get a hold of your captain to come out and get you. That's 2 hours, right? And your next alternative, right, is to the Coast Guard. You're hitting the SOS on your button for your garment. So you got to think through things. You're a little slower than, oh, yeah. Oh, I could just do that. Or I could just do that. So, but we got a lot done. We covered a lot of ground.
We did. We had a small Garmin that we take with us on the island because that's our way of communicating. It's the little one, and it's an inReach. And you literally have to type. You can't just easily type like you can on your cell phone now. It's the old kind where you have to.
You know how you have YouTube?
Yeah,
on your TV, and you want to look something up. A, B, C, D. Pick B. Go down 3. Go over 4 for O.
So you're having to just do all of that, and your hands are cold, and you're trying to get a small enough message to someone to help you. And
and Bill's bleeding out because you can't get a hold of anybody.
But my point was, I was trying to get a hold of our captain's wife at Coldwater AK, good friend Lisa Conley, and trying to ask her to help me from her end. Could she do some things for me? And trying to do that in that hard way of texting. And it just didn't work out. So we had to think of plan B, C, and D. And finally, we ended up having to come all the way back home and figure it out.
We ended up getting a text on our Garmin that said, "We will see you in 2 hours." Yeah. It was from our captain. "We will see you in 2 hours," right? I'm like, great. There it is. There's the sign. Get ready to go, right? Start getting stuff around. 10 minutes later.
Hello!
Hello! We're like, yeah, we're over here. That's how long it took for essentially the communication to get to us. Right. Was 2 hours, right? Mm-hmm. So then it was, GTH, go like hell. And then we had to split up. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then figure it out from there. Yeah. And then Kelly's taking off. I'm not sure when she's coming back. I mean, she's coming back that day, right? So now I'm going to try and get all those assignments done, get everything stacked up, get everything put together to go back if it needs to.
Were you worried about me?
No. I knew the captain. He was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, once Starlink did work, it was good because we could talk on WhatsApp with anyone on the island and have a conversation
through the phone.
Fantastic. It's an app and it's Wi-Fi, and so that worked out good, and the cameras worked fine. So it's just a matter of keeping Starlink powered up. Yeah,
that's a great part of the story.
It worked.
It worked. Yeah, it worked. It literally worked. Interesting how the satellites come in, how they go out, right? Mm-hmm. And it was interesting, but we got it to work.
It was good.
So that was a huge success right there for me.
Yeah,
right?
Me too.
All of that planning.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah. Despite the frustrations, despite the crappy weather, and despite the, hurt feelings or frustrations on either part, it worked. And we learned a lot since, and we became stronger through it all. And I think that's the part of a remote property that I love.
You're the only one. No, I'm kidding. No, there's truth in that. There's a lot of truth in that. You have your mother saying, right? There's no one as smart as all of us, right? You have to say, hey, I can only get this far. What is there a better idea? Does somebody have a better idea? Do you have a better idea? Right? And just keep collaborating and adjusting and collaborating and the whole thing, right? And the thing is too, it's tropical out there. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean warm sun tropical, I mean tropical rainforest.
Yeah.
So it's a different environment, right? Mm-hmm. Pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
I think that as we go forward in Perl Island, the whole point is to get the properties in a spot that we could stay there in long stretches of time. Yep.
Anybody could safely.
And that it's going to be an amazing space to take a rest, to watch the whales, to enjoy life with the eagles on Perl Island. We don't have any bears there, so you don't have to fear for your life in that way.
Yep.
Which
is huge.
Yeah. And the view is amazing.
Yep. No, hope to see you on Perl.